The world's hottest technology show is here. 12 teams from 6 countries will battle it out over 10 business challenges that await technology solutions. Only one team will take home the $25,000 cash prize and claim the winning title of Season 3 of Capgemini Super Techie Show. On the show today, Team OTB Thinkers from India, and competing with them, StarTech also from India. Presenting them with the challenge is Neil Clark, CIO, Heathrow Airport.
Hello and welcome to Season 3 of the Capgemini Super Techies show. I'm Abhimanyu Radhakrishnan.
And I'm Renee Chambers.
This is a series where you get a ringside view of the challenges being given to some of the most promising techies from around the world by the biggest and most iconic of global brands.
For the first time on the Super Techie show, we have invited university students to compete with experienced technology professionals on the very same challenges. What's left to see is who will outperform the other and who will walk away with the crown of the Super Techies.
Before we start today's semi-final, let's just give you a sense of how this show works. There were 6 league rounds where 2 teams vied for a place in one of the 3 semi-finals. As we said, one of them is today. And then 3 winners will square off in the grand finale, which will be held at Capgemini's Global Learning Hub. It's Université La Fontaine in Paris.
Who amongst the 2 teams competing today will reach the grand finale? We will know that in this episode. But before we get to it, let's look at the company that has designed today's challenge, one of the busiest and fastest expanding airports in the UK, the Heathrow Airport.
London American 104 descending through 15 for 140 and heading 105.
Among the busiest airports in the world, Heathrow is the gateway connecting east and west. 84 airlines operate to and from Heathrow, ferrying thousands of passengers every day. Despite the humongous passenger volume, Heathrow has recorded a 98% efficiency rate on its 2 runways. Earlier this year, Heathrow opened the gates of Queen's Terminal, the newest addition to the airport at the height of its operations.
We have a takeoff and landing every 45 seconds, which means that we're effectively running at 98% capacity. So that's a challenge that we face as an airport. How do we run our operation every day, 98% full? If something goes wrong, how do we recover that and get ourselves back on plan?
Heathrow recorded a footfall of over 72.3 million passengers in 2013. 76,000 people are directly involved in the functioning of the airport. Ensuring security for such a large and dense group is a task that needs continuous improvement. Heathrow is calling on the Super Techies to come up with a solution on how technology could be used more effectively to positively influence passenger behavior in order to drive an improvement in the already advanced security compliance.
Okay, so we have our 2 semi-finalists, Team OTB Thinkers and Team StarTech, both from India. They've qualified for today and are all set inside that challenge room. To one last time hear the challenge from the man who's designed it. We've got Neil Clark, who is the Chief Information Officer at Heathrow.
Heathrow is one of the world's busiest international airports, and last year we carried more than 72 million passengers through our airport. So our challenge as a business is how we manage the passenger security search process. Now, up to 10% of bags that passengers present at the security search process contain restricted items. It's frustrating for the passengers, it causes lengthy queues. So my challenge to you is how can technology positively impact passenger behaviour ahead of the passenger search area?
It really gives you breadth in terms of applying your management principles, because you're managing a customer journey, you're trying to bring about a behavioral change, and to that extent it is different, and we really enjoyed it.
The challenge that they gave us was really a real world problem, not one that is created. So that was a really good experience working on some real world statistics and trying to improve the passengers' experience and create solutions that can change the entire way the aviation industry works.
So that was the challenge refreshed for everyone. After the break, we will get to see the solutions that the teams have. That and more on the other side of the break.
Welcome back. You're still watching Season 3 of the Capgemini Super Techies show. Before going into the break, our teams met with Neil Clark, and the challenge he put before them today was to suggest new technology that could be used to positively influence passenger behavior in order to drive an improvement in security compliance. Please put your hands together for the man who's designed our challenge, Neil Clark, Chief Information Officer of Heathrow. Joining him on the jury will be our expert member, Maggie Buggy, who's the VP and Global Head of Digital Customer Experience Sales and Marketing at Capgemini. So, well, we've heard the challenge. Our jury is ready, but how are our semi-finalists feeling? Let's take a look at the team lounge. Ronit, what's happening there?
Abhimanyu, I'm sitting here with the teams in the team lounge. We're all sitting on the edge of our seats to see who goes through with us to the grand finale. Guys, I won't hold you back here any longer. Let's do the draw. Please draw your cards. Go. Okay, Team OTB Thinkers. So this is your final chance to decide. Will you be going down to face the jury first, or will you give it to your opponents this time?
I guess we give our opponents the privilege of going before us.
Good luck, guys, and all the best.
Things could be really different this time since the semi-final challenge. The problem is tougher, but at the same time, now that we have qualified through one round, we have that experience, and we hope that would save us.
Well, Team StarTech University contestants, whenever you're ready, you may present to the jury.
In our solution, we propose a mobile-based application. It has features like checking in, screening the baggage, and airline data, and other features that will be helpful for normal airline passengers. We segregated the entire system into two parts, say 24 to 48 hours before they travel, and 4 to 24 hours before they travel. In the first part, they'll be getting notifications, security guidelines, and general terms regarding what kind of baggage systems they should not be taking. And second part, in the 4 to 24 hours, they have a process to check in using the same application, though they are from having different airlines. After that, they can just try out and take a picture of all their luggage, through which, through algorithms like SF, which have been developing recently, they can be processed and they'll get notifications in a short span of time.
Whether it's your smartphone user or non-smartphone user, they walk into the airport, they use the 3D kiosk, and then from there onwards, the restricted items are flashed on the screen so that the infrequent flyers, which might be the tourists, might be using some other language, they see the figure and they understand, okay, this might be the restricted item which we are not supposed to carry, so they can remove it, and then this data goes to two places. One is the cloud, through which the airport authority uses it to determine which are the most restricted item, and second, to the client, if they have a smartphone app, it goes to the passengers, which tells them this was the items they were carrying, they shouldn't have done that, and it'll remind them, it'll keep a history of it. Coming to the kiosk, 3D kiosk, we also propose the kiosk be installed at the metro stations, so that again a lot of people coming to the airport through metros use that. If we look at the implementation, so first we plan it should be tried out on the volunteer, then you get the app and get it started within as soon as possible, and once you start getting it, you use their data, which they are restricted items, and using that you incorporate your advertisements at the airport. you use some virtual assistants which tell them in the most restricted items are displayed. And then moving on further, if you look at longer picture, you can add other things like RFID tags and augmented reality for better navigation to the other passengers who are not frequent for the airport. These can be added up later in the future.
StarTech, a very interesting presentation with lots of fairly innovative ideas. It'll be interesting to see what our jury members have to say. Neil, any questions for StarTech?
But people only change behaviour if they really want to. So what consideration in your proposal did you give to how you incentivise people to want to change their behaviour?
We'll just focus on the our target group rather than we need not incentivize the people who are not facing these difficulties. So our major target could be the tourists or the students mostly and the families. Considering the tourists, we can have these free travel tours. Maybe since they're tourists, they would be interested in traveling with a lot of different tours. They can be given like free coupons regarding those tours, free incentives. And for the students, they can get any maybe some coupons regarding sports competitions or live concerts.
Your proposed solution has a big dependence on people working differently within the airport. Please give us some insight into how you're going to manage the change in how people work to support this shift in how passenger behaviour is triggered.
In the non-peak hours, the traffic is lesser, and the first-time travelers are also lesser. So shifting the personnel from that during the peak hours, that would help.
Don't you think, though, it's a fair assumption to make that Heathrow manages the shifts of its employees in line with peak and non-peak to manage its labour costs?
But again, when we are proposing this solution, the whole point of this solution is that we reduce the checking and the restricted items being taken. So that will free up some of the resources if this solution actually makes some changes. So there you will have a extra free up space, labor, which you can use for a limited period of time.
So you'd ask me to reinvest the efficiencies from your solution to another part of the process, is what you're suggesting?
Yeah, I think we had pretty fair solution. It was just that linking a solution to the other and then telling them, okay, this is how you go and this is the output. I think that was missing, and there were some points as they raised regarding the labor and the resources which we should have worked more.
We're going to now ask our two judges to mark Team StarTech quantitatively across 5 different parameters, and these are: there's problem comprehension, there's the innovation in ideation, feasibility of the solution, presentation skills, and of course that very intense Q&A round. Judges, whenever you're ready, you can begin the scoring. Well, members of the jury, it looks like you're done. Neil, a quick thought on the presentation and your final score.
Of course, thank you. Look, guys, first of all, thank you for your time and energy in working on this challenge on behalf of Heathrow. Really appreciate it. I like some of the ideas you put forward from a technology perspective, and I think some really interesting ideas. For me, the bits that I wanted to hear more about was how your proposal would drive that passenger behaviour, which is critical here. My score is 28 out of 50.
Okay, so Neil's given them 28. Let's see what Maggie scores them. But before that, some very quick thoughts on StarTech.
So I'll echo, gentlemen, Neil's comment. Very well done. Tough process that you've gone through today. I was very excited in the beginning of your presentation because you've done such fantastic work on your audience analysis. And I feel, though, that you could have done a better job with following that through into how specifically the behaviour of those audience groups could be managed through technology. I've given you a score of 32 out of 50.
We mostly try to incorporate all the aspects into our solution, but at the end maybe we might have missed a few points on improving the behavioural change of passengers. I think maybe we fell short at that aspect.
So, well, that puts Team StarTech at a grand total of 60. But remember, chasing low totals can be tricky. So, let's see what OTB thinkers do on their presentation on the other side of this short break. Stay tuned to the Capgemini Super Techies show Season 3.
Welcome back to Capgemini's Super Techie Show Season 3. Before the break, our first team, our university students, Team StarTech, went in to face a very tough grilling session from our judges. Let's see if our second team, Team OTB Thinkers, can beat their score of 60. Guys, wow. What a tough judging panel at our semi-finals today, don't you think?
We're pretending to be cool, but I guess the last session...
But we're not cool up here in the team lounge, we pretend, but we're not. Guys, best of luck for this semi-final round.
Thank you.
They're waiting for you downstairs.
Yeah, there's always a bit of anxiety because this round takes us into the finals and we do not want to miss going there.
Well, Team OTB Thinkers, we're looking forward to hearing your solution whenever you're ready.
What we have tried to do is put in a model which is a mix of technologies and processes from the SMAC world and try to see how we can influence the behavior before he reaches the security gates. So we started off with going about understanding the journey from the time he plans his flight to the time he gets onto the airplane. We've broken it up into smaller pieces, and each piece we try to understand the objective of that particular piece and the motivations of the customer, of the flyer here, followed by what sort of emotions which are coming during his entire journey from the time he checks in to the time he gets there. What we've also done is we've taken feeds from the social media and mined them and tried to see what is the voice of the customer saying in terms of emotions or behaviors which they demonstrated in the airport. All of this we have put up in a model which we call as a techno-behavioral model, which talks about mapping the entire customer journey on the x-axis and have the behavioral elements on the y-axis. We are calling this a MSI model, wherein we are trying to mandate, steer, and influence customer behavior or flyer behavior in the airport. If you got into understanding the psyche of the flyer in the Heathrow airport, we try to put ourselves into the shoes of that and try to virtually traverse through the airport and see what are the various emotions which typically come as you traverse through this journey, and how is that we can bring about changes in these emotions or these feelings using technology and processes. We are going to motivate and reward a passenger to declare his belongings.
As soon as the customer gets down, he's anxious whether he's on time, he's anxious about whether his colleagues or friends are coming on time. So at that point of time, we propose a beacon-based app, again a mobile app. The beacon will be able to detect that this guy is here, and it messages the traveler saying, okay, you are here, just relax. The airline, as an airline, I know you are here, you will be reaching in so and so time. But the queues, the current status of the queue is n number of minutes, so just plan your travel accordingly. As we see, is the place where after the customer enters, the place where he'll be able to repackage his luggage. This is an area where customers can distribute their weights across baggages from hand baggage to check-in baggage. And after this step, the passenger typically moves on to get the boarding pass as well as check in his luggage. At this point of time, we expect the boarding passes to be digital in that sense, so that he can use this digital boarding pass to go through all next set of steps as well as collect reward points. As he moves ahead, we propose to place a self-scanning machine, wherein the scanning machine can be initiated by having his boarding pass scanned over there, so that we recognize who the passenger is whose luggage is getting scanned right now, and based on that, the passenger will be allowed to declare his status, his luggage status in our mobile app. So all of this we are trying to link through a combination of mobile app, plus the digital boarding pass.
And finally, everything gets tracked under the analytics layer, which constantly keeps feeding information about customer behavior. We're also recommending that we take feedback at various critical points, so that feedback can feed back into this model and refine it further, and possibly we reach a stage where everybody really enjoys going through the Heathrow experience.
Very interesting, possibly even controversial ideas over there. So I'm going to let Maggie start by taking a crack at some of their suggestions.
Thank you. OTB thinkers, good ideas there. One thing that comes to mind for me is that fulfilling your idea and delivering business benefit is hugely dependent on effective collaboration between Heathrow and the airlines that operate within the Heathrow environment. Please give us some insight into how you're going to manage their involvement in and commitment to your solution.
We see that airlines are already buyed into the fact that customer service has to be very good. Hence, Heathrow already has few partnerships, and if the customer service or the service levels are bad, then the airlines need to, Heathrow needs to pay back to the airlines. To that extent, airlines would work towards improving the overall customer experience. More time saved on this side of security check means more time spent on the other side of the security check. To that extent, more revenue will be generated, which is both for the vendors as well as airlines will have more satisfied customers on the other side of the security check, and most of the airlines have their own lounges. So that is again a revenue generating approach for airlines.
I want to know what your thinking is around how this proposal would influence passenger behaviour in their journey before they get to the airport.
We are looking at a lot of avenues where you can influence the customer behavior. One is definitely you have a lot of shuttle services which take you to the airport. Can that be an influencing point is what we considered. There are a lot of tube services wherein passengers are moved from one airport to the other airport. Can we have digital synergies there? There is parking, which is another area where you can positively influence.
We did consider the part outside the terminal, but we've started with the assumption that the low-hanging fruits are the places inside the terminal where the recall is high. Hence, a substantial percentage of our time and the solutioning was spent inside the terminal and not really outside. So, as part of the Q&A, we did emphasize our other ideas wherein we can influence the customer outside the terminal as well.
Some intense Q&A. We are now left with the difficult part of scoring them across 5 parameters. Remember, it's a spot at the grand finale in Paris on the line here. So members of the jury, whenever you're ready, you can begin scoring. I see that the scoring is done. Maggie, can I ask you what you thought of the OTB Thinkers solution and your final score for them?
Can indeed. First and foremost, guys, good job, well done. I was very impressed by how you employed innovative ideas and technologies within your solution. I would have liked to have seen a bit more insight into how are you going to monetize that level of technological investment. So I'd think about those things, but great ideas and very good job.
Thanks, Maggie. So what's your final score for them?
My final score for you guys today is 34.
Wow, so that means needless to give them more than 26. But before you do that and decide who goes into the final, quick thoughts on the OTB Thinkers?
Yeah, OTB Thinkers, once again, thank you for your time and energy in helping us solve what is a really big challenge for us at Heathrow. I guess really interested in the ideas that you put forward around the airport.
Neil, your final score?
So my score for the out-of-the-box thinkers is 30.
So that puts out-of-the-box thinkers on a total of 64, which means they are the second team in our grand finale.
This journey is quite enriching experience so far. Learning all the way from the preliminary rounds, coming to the semi-finals. I think that's a big achievement for us, because we never thought we would come this far. We didn't give us a chance ourselves.
We're really excited, and it's been a roller coaster ride for us, we are at the moment, I'm at the peak of my excitement. So I'm really looking forward to Paris. Eiffel Tower, we are coming.
Neil, the difference between the two teams for you?
Look, two great sets of contestants, and I think StarTech gave some great ideas of technology, just missed out thinking about how they could influence that behaviour, which was at the heart of the challenge. And I think out of the box, again, really good thinking through the airport. I'd like to have seen them think more broadly. I think they need to take that on board. But listen, both contestants, great ideas, and out of the box, just about squeaked it.
Right. Thank you, Neil. Maggie, very quickly, for an industry view, social is a double-edged sword. It can help engage your customers, but when they're fundamentally looking to get angry, it's very hard for brands, even beyond Heathrow, to use it sensibly. What do you think are some of the emerging trends in that space?
Well, the key thing to remember is that the beauty and therefore the business value of digital and social is how it actually drives faster achievement of business objectives. And there's really just three things to bear in mind there. Number one, how you deliver awesome customer experience, but in a way that isn't creepy. That's a really difficult area to navigate. Secondly, its impact on the bottom line. And thirdly, remembering that people are even more relevant to digital and social than they have been historically. So don't forget about people in the equation of talking about digital.
So Team OTB Thinkers are the winners of this semi-final round. Remember, as part of this year's show, the teams participating will receive Leading Digital, the all-new Capgemini consulting book on digital transformation, co-written by MIT and published by HBR Press.
That's right, so only one more spot left in our grand finale after teams Tech3 and OTB Thinkers have taken up two of those spots. Who will that third team be? Well, you'll just have to continue tuning in to the Capgemini Super Techies show Season 3. Thanks for watching.